Luna, don't go in. You'll be taken. It is a door to something.
The set. So what it does, it makes you stronger. And what creatine actually is. Right then, you lot. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody is doing okay. This is week 8 of our Dad Bod to Beach Bod episode. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, we're in a bit of a weird setup. I am in the gym, but I'm not in my gym clothes. Well, today I'm going to keep bashing the table. That's going to be so annoying. Today we're going to do a little bit of science. And I'll be honest, one, it's because I haven't really done anything this week. I will in a sec stick up a little bit of a montage of Paige and I walking through failed brick woods. That was really lovely. And then we're going to go on to what the meat of the video is about. Mr. Creatine is going to be talking all about why and when and what creatine actually is.
This tree is huge. Ben, mate, what tree is this? I have no idea. It's about the size of a car. Let's go. I'm gonna go in it. I just see what's there. Luna, don't go in. You'll be taken. It is a door to something, but I don't want to die, so not going in. Yeah.
Okay, we're back inside again. I hope you all enjoyed the walk. It was probably a very short montage. It's so nice to get outside. If you haven't been getting outside, please do. Just for an hour or so, go get some fresh air. Even in the rain, it's so nice. And do you know what? It's actually a really good fat burner. If you can walk at a decent pace, so good for your body. Now, creatine. This is the reason why we're all here. So again, thanks for joining in. Before we get started though, if you're enjoying this series, if you're excited and interested to see where our Dad Bod is going to end up, and a quick disclaimer, for episode 8 and episode 9, I'm not going to be doing a body reveal at the end of those episodes. We're going to be saving it up until the end of week 10 in 2 more weeks. So there you go. Anyway, if you don't want to miss out on that, then subscribe, like the video so it gets out to more people. It really helps with the algorithm. Comment anything down below if you want. And yes, let's carry on with the creatine portion of this video. So, I've got my notes in front of me. I've got my big iPad. I've got my cup of tea. So I've been doing my research over the last little while. And I don't know about you, you hear about all these different supplements on the market and you don't really know which one to buy. You just kind of do what everybody else is doing. You've got your proteins, you've got your BCAAs, creatines and other bits and pieces. Now, a few of those everybody will have, but do you really know what they do, what they're used for, and how to use them? So we're starting off today with creatine, and we're going to keep it pretty simple. And I'm going to keep looking across to this side. This is where my notes are, you see. This is where my notes are. So, to keep it simple, when we lift weights, when we go to the gym, we use something called ATP. I'm going to have some things on the screen, hopefully. ATP is the main energy source for our muscles. Creatine then improves strength gains by enabling faster regeneration of ATP, which ultimately allows us to get out the extra rep or two in the set. So what it does, it makes you stronger. In fact, I've got a little excerpt. I've got a little bit of research that I've found, which I'm going to have to read straight off the iPaddington. It says, in 2003, a review done by Richard B. Kreider explained that over 300 studies have evaluated the potential value of creatine, and that short-term, this is the important bit, short-term creatine supplementation has been reported to improve maximal power and strength by 5 to 15%. That's huge. For an example, if you are stuck on a 100 kilogram, I mean that's pretty heavy, let's be honest, 220 pounds, that's quite heavy. It's the easiest way to explain it. If you're stuck on a 100k bench press and you're trying, but you can't lift any heavier weights, you've tried for weeks, you haven't used creatine yet before, you introduce it into your system, which we're going to go through that in a sec. What this is saying, after a few weeks of using creatine and making your muscles completely saturated with creatine, it's saying that from 5 to 15% you can expect your lifts to improve by. That's pretty decent. So, creatine. Our body naturally produces creatine, actually, not a very tremendous amount, which is why we have supplements like this one. So the normal person's diet, we would expect people to consume on average between 1 and 2 grams of creatine every day, which is not so bad, to be honest, considering each one of these tablets is 1 gram and you only really need 3 to 5 grams every day to completely saturate your muscles. And that's the idea, to get your muscles completely saturated. It's going to enable them to regenerate ATP faster so we can get stronger. So studies say that of your 1 to 2 grams of creatine that in a normal diet you get, that sits somewhere between 60 to 80% of your total creatine capacity, which leaves us with between 20 and 40% to get from our creatine supplements. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can start by taking or continue to take creatine. I have the tablet form. These are an absolute pig. I have to have 3 of these. Like these, I don't think you really get a good idea of how big these are. And how am I even going to show you this? These things are massive compared to my face. They're about 4 times the size of a paracetamol. I have these hard tablets. You can also get powder. Now, there's what's called a loading phase, where if you haven't used creatine before, or if you're on and off creatine because of laziness or you're getting ready for a competition, then the loading phase is what you need. So if you're brand new to the industry, brand new to using creatine, do this. for the first 7 days, for the first week, rather than the normal 3 to 5 or 6 grams, instead of that, you're going to have 20 to 25 grams of creatine every single day. That helps you get to that full saturation a lot quicker. After that first week, you then drop down to your maintenance amount of creatine, which is the 3 to 5 grams. I only use 3 grams of creatine every single day. I didn't do a loading phase, and I probably should have done, but do you know what? I'm happy. I'm happy that I've put on bulk, I've put on size and power, and I'm only training from home. You've seen the sort of training regime that we do. When I go back into the gym, man, I'm going to be shifting some heavy weights. Okay, it's also important to know that creatine doesn't actually work for everyone. What the heck? Creatine doesn't actually work for everyone. You've got responders and non-responders. Responders are people that it works for. Non-responders, it doesn't work for. And the number is about 20%, which is quite high. However, how do you know whether you're a responder or a non-responder? Well, the easy answer is to take creatine and find out. Quite typically, after a few weeks of taking creatine regularly, what you should expect to see is your weight increase, and that's due to water retention. Your arms are going to look bigger, your chest is going to look bigger, your back is going to look bigger. Now for me, I'm personally trying to go from a dad bod to a beach bod. So water retention is not necessarily something that I'm super keen on, because I want to have abs. And it kind of looks a little bit at the moment like I'm holding quite a lot of tension, quite a lot of water in my abs. There you go. It's kind of an excuse, but it's true. Now there's a reason why some people are responders and some people are not responders, and this could be due to the type of muscle fibers that you have in your body, or at least the more dominant muscle fibers that you have. So for someone that is, let's say, a sprinter or an explosive exercise person, that would be a type 2 muscle fiber person, and this group of people are going to be far more likely to be responders and are going to be far more likely to respond well to taking creatine. On the opposite side of the spectrum, you've got type 1, which are marathon runners, for example, slow twitch muscle fibers, and these people are going to struggle to take creatine and see any effect at all. And the last thing we're going to cover, my tea has probably gone cold. The last thing we're going to cover is when to take creatine. Now, there have been studies done that show if you take creatine immediately after workout, it will have a very, very small, almost negligible benefit, which is why I just take mine whenever I remember throughout the day, because it doesn't really seem to make too much of a difference. As long as you remember to have them, then you're Gucci. In fact, you can go some days. I've forgotten to take my creatine every now and again, so probably over the course of the last 8 weeks, I've forgotten quite a handful of times. It's not the end of the world. It obviously helps. Creatine helps, keeps your muscles saturated. So if you miss a day or two, no worries at all. You can get back on the bus again, and it will just raise your levels back up to full saturation. Don't you worry about that. Okay, let's finish off with some bullet points. Now, these are going to be very quick, simple, easy to remember pieces of information. Okay, so number 1 is going to be creatine is cheap. Very, very cheap supplement. Get on it. Creatine improves your maximal strength from 5 to 15%. If you're loading creatine, you take 25 grams per day for a week. If you're maintaining creatine, you take 5 grams, 3 to 5 grams of creatine per day continuously. You can take creatine at any point throughout the day. It makes no difference whatsoever. Okay, last but not least, even if you are a well-established exercisee, athlete is probably a better word, and you haven't used creatine before, this will still work for you. So do jump on it. Try a little bit of creatine. My protein is where I get mine from. These things are torpedoes. I definitely suggest getting the power. I definitely suggest getting the powder instead. You can mix it into your tea, coffee, your protein shakes, or a glass of water in the morning. There you go. Okay, well that's going to be it for learning time with me. Thank you very much for watching today. Hopefully we'll see you in week 9. As long as this is week 8 and I've not been an absolute lemonhead, my brain has been a wrong 'un today. I'll see you in week 9 next time. We're getting very, very close to the end of our Beach Bod campaign. How are we going to look at the end? I'm excited. Are you excited? We'll see. Oh yeah, right then, you lot, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.